Hi, Mr. Andrew here today, and today we are adding fractions. So the thing that has to be stressed here, and cannot be stressed enough, is when you're adding or subtracting fractions, which is coming up next, you need a common denominator. Common denominator. So here, if you're ever adding or subtracting fractions, common denominator, ingrain it into your mind. It is something that multiplication and division does not need. However, it is required for adding and subtracting fractions. So let's begin with the first one. Something that's straightforward, 1/5 plus 3/5. And if I have 1/5 and then I have 3 more of the fifths, then obviously I would have 4/5. But let's see how we actually do this. Right now we actually put together the top, the numerators. We add the numerators, so we perform the function on the numerators. 1 plus 3 is 4. But the common denominator, it remains. So even though there's two common denominators here, there's only one of them here. So we don't do anything like add the 5 plus 5. We actually just let it remain as a 5. So here, 1 plus 3 is 4, and we just keep the common denominator. Okay. So here, let's see how this works when we're moving forward on a more complicated problem. 3/8 plus 11/12. Well, I see that 8 is not 12. We do not have a common denominator. So here, the way we accomplish or tackle this problem is we need to make a common denominator. So if I multiply by a number, top and bottom, I can actually manipulate this to a common denominator. So the first thing I have to ask myself is, what is a common multiple of 8 and 12? Well, what's the least common multiple of 8 and 12? So that's a previous section that we've had. That is the least common multiple. So if you need refreshing on that subject, please go back to that section. But here, if I didn't know the least common multiple of 8 and 12 is 24, then I'd have to work that out. I'm going to go ahead and save us that time because many of us can probably see that immediately. Or if not, we can do prime factorization or another method. But here, let's just go ahead and write down we need a 24. That's the least common multiple of 8 and 12. So I asked myself, what did I multiply to 8 to get 24? What did I multiply to 8 to get 24? Now the answer to that is 3. I multiply 8 by 3 to get 24. And here's the kick. I have to multiply that to the top as well. Because if I look at this, if I look at this fraction alone, 3 over 3, that is 1. Now technically, if I multiply anything by 1, I'm not changing its value. So here we're manipulating this fraction while not changing its value. We're actually finding an equivalent fraction. So here, this is a way we can accomplish what we want while still keeping the value. So here, let's go ahead and multiply 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, now here, we have to ask ourselves, what times 12 is 24? The answer to that question is 2. So what I do to the bottom, I do again to the top. Again, to create an equivalent fraction to keep the value. Now here, 11 times 2 is 22. Now all I have to do is to perform the indicated function. All I have to do is add the numerators, add the top. 9 plus 22 is 21. And I keep the denominator. I keep the common denominator. So just 24. Now I look at this and I can identify that this can be simplified. This has a common multiple, this has a common factor within them. So here I ask myself, what can be divided into 24 and 21? I can divide into them 3, top, and bottom. This will be equal to 21 divided by 3 is 7. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So overall, the answer to this addition problem is 7/8. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. Hope this helped.